lost drops. In a city always hidden beneath a grey sky, a girl named Emily lived her life. Emily loved the rain, not for its freshness, but for the silence and solitude it brought. The rain was her refuge, a way to escape the noisy world. Every time it rained, Emily would go up to the rooftop and let the droplets fall on her face, thinking of them as the sky's tears. One autumn day, when the rain was pouring harder than ever, Emily stood under the rain and noticed a man across the street, standing under a black umbrella. His name was Jake. Like Emily, he loved the rain, but for him, it symbolized sorrow and loss. Years ago, Jake had lost his wife in a car accident on a rainy day, and ever since, the rain had been a painful reminder of that memory. That day, Emily and Jake met under the rain. Both felt as though the rain had brought them together. Emily spoke of her loneliness, and Jake shared his pain of losing someone he loved. In the rainy silence, they understood each other. Days passed, and their bond grew deeper. Emily felt that Jake was the only one who could truly understand her pain, and Jake found solace in Emily's presence. But life doesn't always show its kind side. One day, Jake told Emily he had to leave. He couldn't escape his past, and every time it rained, the memories of his wife haunted him. Emily tried to convince him to stay, but Jake said he couldn't. On their last day together, it rained. They stood under the same black umbrella and promised never to forget each other. Years went by. Every time it rained, Emily thought of Jake. She still loved the rain, but now it reminded her of memories that would never return. One day, just like that first day, Emily stood under the rain and noticed a man across the street standing under a black umbrella. Her heart stopped, but this time it wasn't Jake. It was just a stranger, holding an umbrella over another woman. Emily went up to the rooftop and watched the raindrops fall. They felt like the sky's tears. She realized that some loves come and go like the rain, but they leave a mark that never fades. And so, the rain became not just a symbol of love, but also of loss and heartbreak. Continuation of the story. Emily sat on the rooftop staring at the wet sky. The rain fell softly, but this time it didn't bring her the usual peace. Her heart felt heavy, as if every drop that hit the ground took a piece of her with it. She no longer knew how to cope with the loneliness. Jake was gone, and with him, all those bittersweet moments. A few months later, Emily decided to move to another city. Maybe a change of scenery would help her distance herself from the past. She chose a small, quiet town where it rarely rained and the sky was often sunny. Emily hoped she could find herself again there. In that town, Emily started working at a small bookstore. She loved books and thought that maybe, within their pages, she could find answers to her unanswered questions. Days passed, and Emily tried to build a new life for herself, but still, whenever she heard the rain at night, her heart ached. One day, while Emily was arranging books in the store, a man walked in. He looked familiar, but she couldn't quite place him. The man approached her and said with a gentle smile, "Emily, is that you?" Emily stared at him in shock. It was Tom, Jake's old friend. Tom told Emily that after leaving the city, Jake had been in a severe accident and had been in a coma for months. He had recovered, but he wasn't the same Jake anymore. Jake had lost many of his memories, including those of Emily. Emily felt as if the ground had been pulled out from under her. She didn't know how to feel. On one hand, her heart broke for Jake, and on the other, she felt the pain of being forgotten. Tom told her that Jake now lived in the same small town and had recently started painting. He asked Emily to go see him. Emily wrestled with her emotions. Should she go see Jake? Could she face him again, knowing he didn't even remember her? But in the end, she decided to go. Maybe this time the rain could bring them together again. When Emily arrived at Jake's house, it started to rain. Jake was standing in his yard, looking up at the sky. Emily quietly walked toward him, and Jake turned to look at her. His eyes were full of questions, as if he were trying to remember something. Emily said in a trembling voice, "Jake, it's me, Emily." Jake looked at her and smiled. "Emily, that's a beautiful name." Emily felt the raindrops mix with her tears. She didn't know if this was a new beginning or the end of an unfinished story. But in that moment, she knew one thing: the rain had brought them together again, even if only for a brief moment. And so, the rain became not just a symbol of love and loss, but also of hope and new beginnings. Even if the ending was uncertain, Emily knew that some stories never truly end.